while we're waiting for other people to join, does anybody have any interesting news that they want to share with us? Anything exciting happening?
Just another day, I think, so far.
Well, I had an interesting morning this morning. I went for coffee with a group of friends, and on my way home, I saw this mama duck standing by a drain grate. And so I turned around and went back and peeked my head inside the grate, and sure enough, there were all her babies down in the little well there. So well, I called the non-emergency number of the police department, and they brought someone out, and he lifted up the grate and went to scoop them, and they ran into the pipe.
Oh no.
Yeah, he said two things. You need to get back. And that mom won't, stick around if you're around, and the babies will come out eventually, because there was a drain that went straight to a ditch, or a drain that went down and then came out in another part of the ditch. And so I just sent up a little prayer and said, okay, I'm leaving. So I don't know the fate of the babies. I am just going to keep a super positive, just know that everything went well. That's what I'm going to do.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah. My little brother is a neotropical ornithologist with the field museum. So all he does is birds all the time. And I can tell you, yeah, they'll probably be fine. We used to go out and catch and ban birds and everything else. So yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, the guy was like, so first things first, that mom will come around, she'll talk to them, they'll come out, or they'll pop out at another place, she'll find them. And then he said, and if not, she'll have another set of babies, and I'm like, geez, okay. But I asked him, I said, do you do this a lot? And he said, a lot. So I was like, oh, okay, you know what you're doing. I'm not going to try and tell you how to do your job. So I didn't say anymore. I just said, okay, I'll go. Thank you. So I have to tell you, Zach, I am a very, very amateur birder, but I love it. I have like 8 bird feeders in my backyard. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 water features, including a little pond I built a couple of summers ago that has a little bit of a waterfall on it. And so I get just all kinds of amazing birds in my backyard, but then I also like to go and do and invested in a good zoom lens and have gotten some pretty good pictures. So I'm nice. Jealous. I'm jealous of your brother. Does he ever do anything like, talk to classes or anything like that?
Oh, yeah.
Would you email me his contact information?
Sure. He's got his dissertation next week, but then after that, he should be pretty open.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. Like I'm thinking, next year as we do different things. One of the things that I do with my students is a passion project. And I happen to know that some of my students also love birds, so that would be kind of cool. So
yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yay. See, so okay, we can leave, everybody. We're done. I've got my goal reached. And just kidding. Well, let's go ahead and get started. I've waited a couple minutes, and I just want to say welcome, everybody, and thank you so much for taking the time to be here. I know some of you have joined me before. Hi, Rika. And so I just want to make it really clear that because you are here with me today, you do not have to do the discussion. What I will do is when we are done, I'll go in and put your full grade in, for participating today in the Zoom meeting. And I understand everybody can't make the Zoom meetings, and I get that, but I think just because you guys made the extra effort, it's important to me that I make it easy on you. And I know that summer classes can be a little bit more stressful because of the time crunch. So yeah, so that's just my little gift to you. I don't really make that super obvious to anybody, but I think that's okay. I am going to be, sorry, I'm going to be looking off to my left a lot because that's where you guys are. So I apologize for not looking you in the eye. It's just the way my camera is set. I actually have to turn my computer quite a bit because I'm in my bedroom, and in my house I have a half loft, and then I'll do it. I don't care. I'm not proud. So there's my bed, and then here is my bathroom, and then over here is my little love seat and my little sanctuary nook that I go and read my book and watch birds and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, so that's why I'm kind of looking kind of awkwardly to the left. So I apologize for that. All right, I'm hoping that today will take about an hour, but I am not saying that we have to limit it to that. And as long as we get accomplished what we get accomplished, then we may be done a little bit soon. I kind of doubt sooner, but just kind of hopefully that works for you, roughly an hour to just kind of go over a few things and share some stuff with you. So should we get started?
Yeah, by all means.
Awesome. Okay, so feel free to unmute if you want, and just blurt out. I don't often, sometimes I get in the zone and I don't pay attention to a hand raise or anything. So you just Desiree, whoa, stop, or hello, or whatever you need to do to get my attention. I'm totally down with whatever you want to do there. So I also am going to have the chat window open, and I've actually put 2 links in there. And so I just want to explain to you what they are. I don't want you to go to them just yet. It'll be just a second, but please go ahead and open up your chat so that you can ask questions in there too. That's awesome. Or give feedback or whatever in the chat as well, because as I said, I do have it open and kind of watch that. I have 2 links for you. The first one is it's going to be our kind of introduction where I take roll through Jamboard. And then I'm also going to ask you for some reflection at the end of our talk. And again, it's just going to be through that Jamboard. So that link will be important if you want to get credit, because that's where you're going to say, I'm here. So we'll do that in just a second. And then the other link that's in the chat is just a link to this presentation that I'm going to be using to just kind of organize my thoughts and give you some information. So let's go ahead and get started. We are actually going to do the quick roll right now. So what I would ask for you to do is go ahead and go to the link that's in the chat. I'm just going to go ahead and open it here in my window so you can see what it looks like. And if you haven't used Jamboard before, it's super straightforward, super easy. The way that it works is you have it's called a frame, and you can have multiple frames. If you look at the top of my page, you can see 1 of 2. So I have 2 frames that I'm going to use in this particular setting during our Zoom meeting. We're going to start with the first frame. And I've given you some direction, but I just want to make sure you know how to do it. And it's simply click on the sticky note tool and then type in your first and last name and tell me your favorite drink. I don't care if it's an adult beverage or, okay, maybe I have to put the link back in again. Let me go ahead and re-add it. Thank you for telling me that, you guys. I put it in before we started, so maybe that could be a problem. I will repaste it. Let me know if you can't see it. And you can also, I can go back to the Buncee and you can type it from there, but just let me know. Okay, perfect. I see someone now just entered. So you must be able to, yay. I see you coming in. Woo-hoo. Okay, I'm sorry. So as I was saying, all you're going to do in this little activity is grab a sticky note, put in your first and last name, and then tell me your favorite drink. And as I said, it can be an adult beverage. This button right here is the sticky note. It's directly below the arrow tool or the selection tool. And so go ahead and click on, good job, Melissa. And then if you want to try and move your sticky note a little bit, just so it's kind of, we can arrange. And if you move mine, that's totally fine. Don't worry about it. Just so that we can kind of arrange them a little bit. You can change the color, as you probably saw. You can make your sticky note bigger or smaller, that kind of thing. I love that your favorite drink is water. I wish mine were, because I don't drink enough water. This is water. I'm going to let you guys do that, and then I'll come back and look at them in just a second. Rika, I've never had a whiskey ditch, so I have no idea what that would be like. I am actually not a very big alcohol drinker. I like a good glass of Sauvignon Blanc once in a while, but I have had Jack and Coke before. And I'll just take this one and put it like this, so it makes it a little bit more obvious. Once you've made your sticky note, just so that you can see, if you did accidentally put it on top of someone else's, you can bring yours to the front, or you can, bring it forward, whatever works for you, but we're good. We haven't gotten on top of each other yet, so nice. Zach, I have to tell you, if I do not feel well, lemon lime Gatorade is my go-to. So I totally understand that. I get it. I get it. I don't like any other Gatorade really, except for the lemon lime. And you know what I do? Sometimes I heat it up. Like in the winter, if I have a sore throat or something, I put a little lemon lime Gatorade in the microwave and drink it.
Oh, well, there you go.
That's my secret, secret confession right there.
You could be like the guy in Flash in the Past and boiling Dr. Pepper, so thank goodness you don't do that.
Oh no, I can't. Oh no, thank you. Awesome. Okay, so here's what I wanted to use that Jamboard for 2 reasons. And the first one is just to get your names down, so I don't have to try and keep track or write it down or anything like that. The second one is we're going to be using this tool, Jamboard, for not only just getting your information down, but also as a reflection feedback activity. So Google Jamboard is perfect for that. If you haven't used it before, it's a very simple, straightforward, just a shared whiteboard, if you will. All I did was share it and make the link available to anybody or make the board available to anybody that has the link. So pretty straightforward. Okay, so let's get started with creativity. And I have to tell you, creativity in education is kind of one of my passions. I have been a follower of Sir Ken Robinson for years and have seen, his videos multiple times. And he's an amazing person who I love this quote that he came up with, and it's creativity now is as important in education as literacy, and we should treat it with the same status. And I completely agree with that. Research has shown the benefits of creativity far outweigh what we thought they did, years ago. And so this is just a quick little graphic of some of the benefits of creativity for us and for our students. And again, you're going to have a link to this presentation, so you don't have to write any of this down or anything. You will get this graphic with you, so you don't have to worry about that. But I just want to go over a couple of these, not a bunch, because I think most of us have experience in the classroom or familiar with the benefits of lots of different things, including creativity. So obviously creativity is multidisciplinary. You can use creativity to teach science or history or English or math. And what's really cool is you can actually kind of combine your disciplines using creativity. So that would be project-based learning. Creativity allows you to enter your happy zone and have fun. I think a lot of people enjoy doing projects that allow them to be creative or allow them at least choice and voice. So creativity can lead to feelings of accomplishment and pride. The big push or the big focus right now is social emotional learning, and allowing students to be creative can support that greatly. So I think that that's really important. And creativity promotes risk-taking, problem solving, and iteration. So I think anytime you can allow students to create and evaluate and amend and build on and recreate, you have a lifelong skill. So these are just some of the benefits of creativity, and obviously there are more, but I'm just going to talk about those real quick. Okay, so when we talk about creativity, I think the things that we want to focus on with our students is critical thinking and making decisions. A lot of times we do project-based learning in our classroom, and it's kind of one of those where we do it because we think engagement, right? That's what we want, is engagement. But actually, if we dig deeper, there's so much more to the benefit of doing something, a project or a product-based lesson. So one of the things I like to do with my kids is ask a couple different questions, and these are good questions for myself as well. Why are we doing this? Or what is the message that I want to come across in the finished product? And who's the audience? What do I want them to feel? What do I want them to walk away with? Now, again, I'm talking to my students about this because I want the learning to be authentic. I want them to create something that has purpose and meaning. I also ask them what kind of words work best for the purpose that you have in mind. There's always a time limit, right? We only have so much time to get the products done. So I have a time limit. Where should I spend most of my time? And honestly, I think in the beginning of project-based learning, this is the most critical statement or question that we can ask our students, because as I'm sure all of you know, if we put a tool in the hands of students and don't emphasize there's a limited time, then they will spend all of their time on bells and whistles and not on content. And so I emphasize to my students, if we have this much time, think about what could happen if the technology fails us. So I'm asking you to create this product. You have 2 hours to do it. And if the technology failed us halfway through, could I grade you on what you got done if all you did was spent time on the bells and whistles, and instead of working on content first and then applying your creativity to make sure that your voice is heard? And when I say voice is heard, I'm not speaking literally, although students could record their voice. I think it's important. I use the term student voice a lot. And so that's what I mean, is that they are being valued as a producer. Okay, so the final question I think comes in all the time and usually mid-project, and that is, I need to make this shorter, or I need to make this longer. What can I add or what can I take out? And we know oftentimes it's always, I need to make this shorter, what can I take out? Prime example of using a creative plot to teach a physics lesson. Awesome. Okay, thanks, Zach. That's so cool. I love it.
Arthur C. Clarke actually called NASA to make sure that the twist at the end made sense, because he wanted to make sure he got the orbit right.
Awesome. That is very cool. I love it. So who is the author of the lesson?
Arthur C. Clarke,
Okay. Okay.
who famously came up with GPS for one of his stories back in the 50s. And then when it was
Wow.
actually invented, his publisher made him a t-shirt that said, I invented GPS and all I got was this t-shirt.
I love it. That's awesome. All right. So let's look at some tools. And just a quick, I'm going to give you some advice. The tools that I'm going to show you are just a super small sampling of some creativity tools. I would strongly recommend, and I'm just going to click over to it, that you go ahead and explore the creativity page on the website that I've been using for this class. And the reason that I encourage you to do that is because there are so many tools that I'm not mentioning today that I think are absolutely phenomenal. I'm also not going to spend a lot of time talking to you about the concept of digital storytelling, but I want to tell you that's a huge passion of mine. I teach workshops on that with teachers, and it's just something that's near and dear to me. And I have a lot of resources for not just the digital storytelling tools, but also those complementary tools like free images or other tools that allow you to do other things inside your digital storytelling tools. So please, 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 I'm not going to go through this whole page here, but please, please, please go ahead and spend some time on that page just to make sure that you are familiar with lots of creativity tools. Also, just a good thing to do is remember that content curation assignment that I gave you. The idea is that you will save tools you've explored and want to continue to use into your curation tool. That'll be part of your teacher toolkit. And so it would be a good idea to visit the page and grab some of those and throw it into your curation tool. Okay, so let's look at the first tool. This tool is called Buncee. The tool that I'm using, and I'm just going to go full screen just for a second. This is the screen or the tool that I'm using to present the other tools and to give you the information that I'm giving you today. I'm going to actually go into the edit mode just quickly so you can see how this works. So I'll go ahead and click edit. And Buncee is a super easy but very robust tool. And obviously it looks very similar to, a PowerPoint, slides, any of those slide presentation tools, but it does differ a little bit from there. You do have some features that you might not find in other tools, or the features are super easy to get to. You don't have to do a lot of jumping through hoops to get those features. So when you get a new slide, you simply click on the plus, and these are the things that you can add in. So obviously text and lists and drawings, those are all very similar, but you can also insert questions. So an FRQ is a free write question, a free response, excuse me, not right, free response question, a multiple choice question. You can actually embed Khan Academy videos, YouTube videos. You can bring in 360 images. You can import or upload your own files. You can even create a QR code for your audience to scan to go somewhere else. And then when you're in the slide itself, clicking on an element in the slide brings you a lot of different features. And it's not Google Slides heavy in options. It's the perfect, in my opinion, it's the perfect amount of tools you need to make a really effective presentation, or I hate to use the word presentation, but maybe story. And one thing that I want you to notice is every piece of text that you put into your individual slide can be read out loud. So if you have, and then the one downside, you have to start over if you get into the edit mode and then go to view. So you can actually listen to the text. That's not something you have to add in. It just automatically happens. When I added a text box, I automatically added an audio feature to see that. So I think that's kind of cool. Okay. The next one, and if you have heard of all these before, that's awesome. I'm going to try and show you just some different ways that I've used them, and just a couple examples. Each one will have one example of how to use the tool. So Adobe Spark, obviously it's an Adobe product. Adobe has Adobe Spark, Adobe Page, and Adobe Video. And they are 3 free tools that you can use to create different products. And the Adobe Spark is a simple kind of slideshow creation that turns itself into a video when you're done. And so you can put text, photos, fonts, video, all those things. It automatically allows you to put some background music in. You can change the theme of it, and then the music and the background images will change to kind of match. Super, super easy, straightforward, free Adobe tool. As we know, most Adobe tools are not free. And so this is one that I really like for that. This is an example of how you might use Adobe Spark. So what you're going to see here, it kind of looks like a video, but as I play it, and I'm not going to play all of it for sure, but as I play it, you will see how it's more of a slideshow. So I won't play the whole thing. I just want to kind of explain to you what this is. So when we were not able to have parents come in for open house, we did just a quick little introduction to the specialists via a video that explains each of our philosophy and our goals for the year and what you can expect and how you can communicate with us. And we wanted to do it in a fun, kind of creative way. And so what we did is we did an app smash. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with app smashing, but app smashing is simply taking multiple tools, putting them together, and ending up with one product. And so what we did here is took word art, and each one of the specialists made a word art with their main focus words. And then we put that as our backgrounds. So each one of the specials has a different image in the background. And then the cool thing about Adobe Spark is you simply click a button, you start talking, and it records the narration for the duration of your slide. Once you get that done, your image on your slide, your audio recorded on your slide, and then you get multiple slides done, the music automatically happens. And you can go in and change the music if you want to, but oftentimes it seems like I don't have to. It just fits for what I'm doing. So very, very straightforward tool. And if you haven't used it before, I think it would be a great tool for you to try.
Oh, Desiree, I have a question about that.
Yeah.
Can you set it up to play continuously?
Great question. So you can set up a loop and it will just start over and play again. So yes, you can. Okay. Yeah, isn't that nice? You can set it up like a kiosk.
I'm thinking about maybe like a virtual art show, and just to have, can you embed it and put it in like a web page? And
yes,
like that. Okay. Cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, the sharing features are, pretty typical, where you can do just a link to it, or you can get the embed code and make it as part of your web page or whatever tool you're using. You can embed it. The other thing is you can take, if I remember correctly, don't quote me, but I think you can take and export the product into a video format and then upload it to YouTube if you want to. So if you've got a YouTube channel, I'm pretty sure that you can do that. Adobe is, they're very well known for making good quality products. And so think of the things that you would want to do with it, and chances are you can do it. Super straightforward though. It is web-based, or it does have an app for your iPad. And so what I do with this tool, often is my students have to create products using this on the iPad. So one of the things I do is they have to identify nonfiction text features. And what I'll make them do is take the iPad and take pictures of evidence, and then they record their voice, explaining what you're looking at and why that's a nonfiction text feature. So just kind of a different way to do it. Lots of different ways. We did an anti-bullying campaign, and the students made their own videos on, how to be kind and those kinds of things. And that's the cool thing about Adobe Spark. A lot of our presentation tools that have slides, you put in an image, but in Adobe Spark, you can actually record the video right inside there, and that puts it on the slide as well. So that's really handy. The students love that. This is Haiku Deck. And I'm going to be totally honest, I'm not a huge fan of Haiku Deck, but if you kind of just want something super quick, super easy, maybe your students don't have the knowledge that you are ready for them to take on a bigger task, or maybe you just don't want them to have all the bells and whistles and features because you want the content to be at the forefront of what they're doing. Haiku Deck might be a really good tool for you. It's super straightforward, super simple, and there aren't a lot of features available in it. So here's an example of a deck, is what it's called. And so you basically have the same, features that you would have in most slideshow tools. And you can present this live, you can download it, you can integrate it into PowerPoint, not Google Slides yet that I'm aware of. But again, super, what I would call straightforward, not a lot of features, but still works, still effective, So I'm going to pause for just a quick second and take a little bird walk and just say to you, some of the assignments that I've been giving you or discussions I've been giving you, some people have said things like, I don't know why I would use Adobe Spark when I have Google Slides, or I don't know why I would use X when I have Y. And I always come back to two things. The first thing is every product has the Coke and Pepsi, phenomenon. And that is Coke and Pepsi are basically the same thing. They're pop, they're soda, and some people like Coke. Some people will die on that Coke hill, right? No Pepsi for me. Some people are Pepsi fans, and the other drink is just not even talked about. And so the reason there are multiple tools to do the same basic thing is because not everybody likes things exactly the same. And so having features or a slightly different look or something like that appeals to different people. So that's my Coke and Pepsi, scenario that I use. We have multiple tools that do the same thing because not everybody likes to go about creating the same way. So that's why there are different tools. When you're picking tools and deciding to use tools, don't marry any tool, because the minute you marry a tool, you dedicate your life to it, and in sickness and in health, you use that tool. And what happens to tools? They disappear, or they're not free anymore, or the features change so much that you don't recognize them from the day that you met it, right? So it's important not to marry any one tool. Be diverse in your knowledge of tools, so that if something does happen where a tool doesn't work for you anymore, for example, if Pepsi went out of business, you might have to live with Coke, and truly they are super similar. So that's my little 2 cents. Okay, so for anybody who's working with younger students, and I've had high school teachers use Write Reader, that's the name of the tool. I've had high school teachers use Write Reader, and it's been fine. I think most of the hang up in using Right Reader comes with the teacher, and they feel a little bit like it's elementary. But I've worked enough with high school students to know that you can oftentimes use elementary tools with them and they think it's fun. So don't count Right Reader out necessarily. So this is an example of a Right Reader book. Oh, and I'm gonna have to log in, sorry. So you may not be able to see this outside of this presentation. I thought that I had made it shareable, but it may only be that I can see it as the teacher, and I'm okay with that. I got to make sure I do this right. I actually have 2 accounts and it's not going to let me in. It's going to make me, it keeps saying failed. Poo. Well, what I'll do, that's my strong word. What I'll do is maybe take some screenshots or something so you can see what it looks like, because, and shoot, I just tested this yesterday under a different account, so I don't know why that didn't work. The way that, if you haven't used Right Reader, the way that it works is it's super straightforward, blank pieces of digital paper that allow you to incorporate text and images, and you can record your voice to read your text, and then you can turn it into a digital book. And Right Reader is not free if you want to use it with your students. I currently have the plan that's $35 a year, and that's unlimited students. And that was simply because I was working with over 200 students this past year, so I needed an unlimited number. Typically, I would not need that dollar amount. It would be like $15 a year for the number of students I have. Completely worth it. I have to tell you that I introduced my 2nd graders to this tool, I think in March, February or March. And we did several creative writing projects. One of them was, if I were 100 years old, I would ... And it was supposed to be very fantasy creative. And that was their first taste of Right Reader. One of my classrooms, which had 17 students in it, by May, they had over 143 digital books created amongst themselves in their little, because when you create a class, there's a library, and you can decide whether students want to see each other's books or just their own books. And obviously I can see all the books that are created. And when I just I jumped into Right Reader and just took a quick look at my classrooms, I looked at this one classroom and it had 143 books created. I don't think we're ever going to, discourage our students from writing or creating literacy. So I was just jacked to see that. Now, upon digging a little bit deeper, it wasn't quite as exciting as I thought it was going to be, because a lot of them were just basic 1 sentence per page, but they're still doing it. So I'm not going to poo-poo that. So Right Reader is a great tool. Very similar, and I have to show you this example. If it doesn't work, I'm going to be so sad. Book Creator is a great tool that basically does the same thing as Right Reader. You can create classrooms. Your students have accounts that are connected through Google Classroom. If you use Google Classroom, same with Right Reader. So both Right Reader and Book Creator, you create your classrooms by importing Google Classroom, which makes it super easy and simple. They both allow for an audio book, so you can have this read to you. And this is actually a part of a passion project that I did. And this is one of the projects that the students did to explain what they love to do. So this is, if you haven't heard of it, Splatter Painting by Marin, and it's pretty cool. She did a great job. She was in the 4th grade when she wrote this book. And again, you can incorporate video, as you can see. I can also have it read to me Here's one of the reasons that I jumped over to Write Reader from Book Creator. When you listen to this, that is not as exciting as hearing the student's voice read the words. And in Write Reader, you have the student reading their words that they wrote. So to me, that's one reason you might go with Write Reader over Book Creator. Also, I think Book Creator is a bit more expensive. So just to be aware of that. Whoops, clicking on the wrong thing, sorry. Okay, back to my Buncee. I don't know if you guys might have explored this a little bit. Some of you may have seen it, used it, but this has been one of my favorite tools for a number of years. I started using ThingLink right out of the gate. Oh, shoot, Melissa, thank you. You didn't hear any audio from my screen. You know why? I have my headphones plugged in because I was afraid my husband's noise would distract me. I might just sneak back, you guys. I'm going to unplug my headphones carefully. And I'm going to try that again because I want you to be able to hear that. So let me jump to Book Creator. And thank you so much, Melissa. I appreciate that. So I'm going to click the Read to Me button. And will you just tell me if you can hear it okay?
Splatter painting can be